Look, this video is 100% just my personal opinion, and I'm not even trying to say that I have the best opinion because I know that some things on this list would make it past the top 100 on another list. Anyway, before I ramble too much, hey, I'm Hani, and today I'm going to share my top 10 anime shows with you. Like I said, I don't claim that these top 10 are the one and only top 10. This is the most subjective opinion. Some things on this list probably shouldn't be on a top 10 list for anybody, but for me, the reason I have pink hair right now is probably because I was so influenced by Fairy Tail and Natsu Dragon Eel back in the day, and still I wouldn't put Fairy Tail on my top 10 because do I really need to justify that? Anyway, there are other things on this list that I need to justify. So what I'm trying to say is I'm not writing this based on how good a show like objectively is, but more of like how much it gave me personally subjectively, like what kind of feeling, it's more of like what do I actually associate with the show that makes it good for me, not that it's objectively a great show. So yeah. Without further ado, we're just gonna go and start with the top 10. In number 10, we've got something from the horror genre, and I am not a big fan of horror. Like, I'm that person that really can't sleep after watching something creepy, and I steer clear from any horror movies that I can and try not to watch them. Yeah, anyway, the show is Another. I'm talking about Another. I watched Another on a dark, stormy night when I was alone at home, which probably wasn't the best idea. And I remember being scared for my life so much that I just ran down into the kitchen because I was so hungry and grabbed a box of chocolate and went up again and just ate that box of chocolate while watching the creepy show. And I don't know why that kind of resonated with me, but that show, like, for me has kind of like a special place in my heart. For me, the ending really wasn't predictable. I'm not gonna spoil it here, but the ending really, for me, made the show. I really think just Another is one of those shows that is just the complete package when it comes to horror, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, that's why it's my number 10. Number 9 is Saiki Kusuno Psai-san. Yeah, pink hair. Saiki is my guilty pleasure. It's like Friends for the Mother people. I watch Saiki to feel part of that friend group, to feel part of that world, and it's that one show that I go back to when I'm having a bad time and I just can put whatever episode on and it will probably make me laugh because it's just that kind of wholesome feel-good show to me. Because it is comedy as well, and I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of comedy. The way Saiki does it is really my cup of tea, and yeah, I binged it on Netflix when it came out. The show is so great because of its characters, and it's really a character-driven show because everybody starring is just a stereotype in itself, and it's just, I don't know. But yeah, Saiki is one of my guilty pleasure shows that I will forever love and forever put on when I just need to have a small time out during the day. So yeah. So now the next 4 that are coming are in this order, and I'm okay with that order, but then again you could just order them all around again. So like number 8 to 5 is probably just, you could throw the dice and however they would land, I would be okay with that order. That being said, number 8 is Kaze ga Tsuyoku Furiteru, or Run with the Wind. I made a whole video about Running with the Wind, trying the training from there, but apart from that, it's just a show that is so deeply, I'm really emotionally connected to that show. I remember just crying my eyes out at the end, and I'm really not a person that cries a lot. Actually, I think I cried at a total like of 2 shows on this list, and those are like the 2 shows I ever cried at when it comes to anime, because I feel sad at a lot of shows, not saying I'm not having feelings, but I just don't often feel the physical drive to actually cry. There's another show on here that made me cry, we're gonna come to that, but this one is just, I don't know, I watched it 3 times and every time I cried at the ending. The way the show builds up, the characters, their drive, it just so deeply resonated to me on a human level, like a human with ambitions and dreams. Even if it's not about running for me or in my life, you can just take that story, implement it into so many other things, and I think this is also a deeply underrated show because I don't really hear many people talk about it, but it's just so great. So if you haven't watched it and you haven't watched anything from that list, just go and watch this show and really give it a chance. Ooh, on number 7 I've put Attack on Titan. So yeah, probably that is one that is on many top 10 lists out there. Attack on Titan is just a classic, and maybe it will go even higher once the final season has finished airing. I can definitely see that happening. For now, it rests confidently at number 7 because it is an amazing show. It's a complete package. It's hype, it's action, it's great animation, it's great character writing, it's great source material. I don't know, Attack on Titan really is. I remember when I first watched it, and that was like when season 1 was out, and it was just the biggest hype, and then season 2 kind of left me feeling kind of like not meh, but I wasn't as hype. And then it got better and better from season 3 onwards again, and it's just such a train ride. Okay, number 6 is Yuri on Ice.
Can you hear my heartbeat?
Another guilty pleasure of mine. Obviously, you probably can tell the type of person I am now from hearing that Yuri on Ice is in my top 10. Now, I will admit I have spent countless of hours reading Yuri on Ice fanfiction on Archive of Our Own, but that that aside, Yuri on Ice is also a show that made me try new things because it inspired me so much. Like, I really started figure skating after watching Yuri on Ice. I was that predictable bitch, you know? I don't know, and also it's a show that I rewatch every time around Christmas because that's when it first aired. I love ice skating. I love ice skating so much. I really want to go ice skating again after Corona is over sometime. And I miss taking figure skating classes, and it's just, yeah, Yuri on Ice, man. You understand somehow, or you don't, but that's okay as well. So number 5 is Bungo Stray Dogs, and I'm gonna admit it's probably that high up because it's the most recent show I watched. And it's the most recent show I watched that gave me post-show depression, and maybe that's kind of like why I put it in such a high spot, because I'm so post-show depressed still from Bungo Stray Dogs. I'm not gonna say Bungo Stray Dogs is amazing, because it's probably not a masterpiece. And season 1 really wasn't that great. Like, season 1 was mediocre at best and bad at worst, I guess. But still, I think from season 2 is when I really started to get into it. And season 2, from like the first half of season 2 from Bungo Stray Dogs, to me that is the masterpiece part. That is why I love this show. And also the opening and the music and the animation. I think it's just a really good all-rounder. I think there's nothing bad with a show being an all-rounder and not being a full-on masterpiece, you know? And that's why this show is so high up there, because for me it's again a show with characters that I enjoy, it's a setting that I enjoy the music, and I feel like it's also a show that gets better and better the more the world gets built up. So like season 1 started out being really not that good, but then season 2 came, and then season 3, and it just got better, you know? Yeah, it's just a good all-rounder, and sometimes you just need a good all-rounder. You don't need a masterpiece, you just need something warm and comforting, and something that really gave you post-show depression so bad, but you're not in the phase where you can rewatch it already because you still have it in your mind so clearly, and I am still depressed. Oh, now we come into the top 4. The top 4 I'm pretty confident in. Like, I think these are actually the top 4 that will never change unless something really, really amazing comes around. So these are just the best of the best for me. In number 4, we got JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Season 1 or something, or at the beginning, I probably wouldn't have put JoJo on this list. But JoJo is on this list because of its franchise. JoJo in general is amazing, and it just gets better and better. And my favorite part hasn't even been animated yet, because my favorite part is Steel Ball Run, and I'm so excited for when that gets animated. But the rest is amazing as well. I think especially part 4 and part 5, like the animation of those parts, amazing, jaw-dropping. I love them so much. I have such a love for all the openings, for all the music, for all the drama, for all the extraness that JoJo stands for. And if you have not given JoJo a fair shot, then I really do think it's a franchise that needs time. Like, I think it took me a good 3 months to really start loving the show. In number 3, we have the only animated film on this list. To me, the greatest animated film of all time, and that's why it's also on this list, is Koi no Katachi. Onto that completely unknowing. I didn't have any idea what the movie was about. It was just one night where I was like, oh, let's watch something, let's watch a movie, and I stumbled about it, and it was, oh my god. That's why I said there was another thing that made me cry on this list, like Koi no Katachi, the ending. I think I cried for like 2 hours straight, really. I after that my eyes were just the desert or something. I lost all the water in my body because of that movie. It's just heartbreaking on so many levels. I can't even, I'm gonna tear up just thinking about it. To me, Koi no Katachi isn't just a movie that made me cry or something. It's just a story that has been beautifully animated and I'm not gonna say amazing again. No, this one, okay, this one for me is a masterpiece. Kono Kadachi. I can't explain it. I don't have words for it. I don't think you understand what I mean until you've seen the movie. To me, it's the best animated film I've ever seen. And that should say enough about it and why it's so high up here. I think one thing that's coming up is 100% predictable for me. And this is my number 2. And maybe some of you thought my number 2 would be my number 1 because it's probably the show that I talk most about on here. And that number 2 is Haikyuu. Why is Haikyuu my number 2 top anime of all time? I think Haikyuu to me is just like a home. I don't know, like a home I will always come back to and I will always love and I could never hate. That is just kind of like what Haikyuu is to me. It's just the characters, the setting. Haikyuu was that thing that motivated me to start doing sports, I feel like. It motivated me to do so many things, and it's also just that one thing that always cheers me up, like seeing a Haikyuu post on Twitter, like rewatching the show. It's something I could do forever and ever, and I would never get bored of it. To me, this show is motivation. And whenever I seek motivation, I put on a Haikyuu opening. I don't know, I really do work out to the Haikyuu opening still. I don't know, because everybody in the show is so motivated for their common goal. Haikyuu is like a warm blanket that you can wrap yourself in and you're always just gonna be happy with it. I could talk 100,000 times about this. I've talked 100,000 times about Haikyuu on this channel, and I will probably continue to be talking about Haikyuu because I will never shut up about it because I love it. It's as simple as that. I just really, really love it. So yeah, this is where I'm gonna stop my Haikyuu rambling because it's gonna be too long if I just continue. And you're probably wondering now what my number 1 is. Yeah, I don't think I've ever mentioned number 1, but this number 1 I'm 100% confident in. I don't think this number 1 is also going to change for the foreseeable future, or as long as I live, probably. My number 1 top anime of all time that I would recommend to everybody, where season 1 and season 2 respectively are the best thing that ever happened to the world, is Mob Psycho 100. Mob Psycho to me is a masterpiece. Animation-wise, story-wise, character development-wise, the animation, the hype, the colors, the story, the style, it's perfect. Especially I think Mob Psycho resonates so much with me though because of the animation. I think the animation to me is what makes Mob Psycho. The animation of Mob Psycho is something that also really inspires me as an artist. As somebody who makes videos and also dabbles in animation in my studies and everything, I think to me Mob Psycho also represents the dream of where I want to get, like animation-wise, storyboarding-wise. Like with everything on this list, I could probably make a whole separate video about why the animation of Mob Psycho is the best ever, I don't know. But I'm just gonna stop it here because I don't want this video to get too long, and I also am hungry and I want to eat something right now. Also, I have a bunch of uni work to do and I really need to get going. So I don't even know why I just sat down for 10 minutes to make this video, but yeah. Kindly leave your comments down below. You can roast me, I don't care. It's just my personal opinion. Or you can leave your top 10 lists down below because I'm really interested in those and I'm always looking for new gems that I haven't maybe seen yet. Or maybe you can remind me of something that I have seen and I've totally forgotten and that should actually be on this list, I don't know. But yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day, have a nice night wherever you are, and bye, be back on my channel.